ending malaria before that? There must be some possible viable points that will help us.
Thank you. Let me quickly go into that. Prior to 1999, when this politician came, 79, when they came, malaria was not as heavy as this. That time there was construction yard we call Niger Zone. They are into construction of villages in Lagos. But when they came, they politicized everything, giving construction of villages to party leaders, hairdressers, no gradient. The drainage moved to nowhere. There is nothing like tertiary drainage again, no secondary drainage again, whereby there is what we call tidal gate at a quarry, where everything must go into. All these drainages today, go and check. No drainage in Lagos is flowing because they are all constructed by all these party felons. They don't know what to do. No engineer will just be approving, because if you don't approve, you are in trouble. You have to approve by force, by fire. There's no gradient again. There's nothing working again. And I must tell you, the only way to control malaria or mosquito is through water management. There's no other way to it. But because we have gone into importing amala, what's your own name? Rotumas mala. So many names now. And people are eating deep. In fact, they are killing us, sucking our blood every day. We know what to do. Once you are still appointing a curative man to head a preventive circle, you are yet to start. If you want to, a square peg is fit for a square hole. A round peg in a square hole will not enter. You have to hammer it to enter. The moment you start or you continue to appoint a medical doctor, I will say it here, as environmental chief, you are yet to start. Because they are for curative. They are clinicians. They are to cure you, not to prevent you from having it. So we should be able to do what is normal at this point in time. 62 years of independence, we are yet to do something about it. Why somebody be killing us every day? And if you don't control water, water is going to control you. One, we don't have sanitary landfill in Nigeria. We do open dumping up to now. Open dumping, you have so many things exposed to, taking water, containing water. In those areas that you went, they have what we call sanitary landfill, where everything is starting from home. That is sorting from home. Somebody have to come as a PSP to carry the plastic. Somebody is coming to carry the metal. Somebody is carrying to carry the wool. Somebody is carrying to carry the papers for recycling purposes. But in Nigeria, we love it together. That's why we have not only mosquito, we have so many things called pests, ravaging everybody, killing everybody, and nobody is there to say, stop it and let's do this one. There's no hair, and when the head is not good enough, every part of the body is rotten. So where do we go from here? Apart from that, it is only in Nigeria we see what we call septic tank or pit latrine. That's what we call central sewerage, where every fecal matter will go for treatment. There's all this you are seeing, all these septic tanks go there. Mosquitoes are thriving every day, and I don't know why. And if we do that, its economic importance is you are going to recycle. Even the water will be treated. You will not even know. All the areas we are traveling to, they are drinking the water from the central sewerage. It is treated and it is consumable. And the resultant effect is a cake fertilizer for your vegetation. All this we are importing now, synthetic fertilizers, giving us cancer. Go to any hospital now. People are sick. In Lagos alone, we have 26 general hospitals. No bed. So what are we talking about? And it is this malaria. So it is when we are serious, we can save 5 years, depending on the headship, depending on attitude of the policy makers, the behavioral change of all of us here. We are still eating in a vehicle we are still throwing it on the road. Up till now, where is the sense? Where is the brain? If we are still doing that, we are yet to start. And until we are yet to start, we'll just be having that problem on and on. There are so many things to say. I can talk for the next 10 hours on this because I am embittered that even during my time, I've seen the better time, but this is the worst. I mean, the worst period we are having.
Yes.
How can people be suffering from what is very minute to solve? In those times, every drainage is fumigated or disinfested every week. Every week, you will see people carrying their knapsack, going to the street to fumigate to disinfect the street. But where will they disinfect? Look at all the silted drainages. It cannot be it cannot be disinfested because the waters are not going to anywhere. Instead of drainages, we have what we call cesspits, and it's not good for the nation. We are only living by the grace of God. We are only very strong in this nation. We are all would have been dead if not for the tropical area of our life. I would say tropical of our skin, because we are so emboldened. Nothing kills us, on time. Let the white man come here, they will die. They cannot withstand it. So it is when we want to start and we are ready to start, then we will start. People are dying. It's only we don't have enough data to tell you what is killing you, what is killing him. All what we are hearing is somebody is dead. What has killed him? You will not know. If you know what has killed that person, then you will know what to do. I should not continue to kill others. But that's the problem we are having. It's a big problem. And it is when all of us say it can be achieved, it can be achieved. Not when those who are having nothing, no brain, or controlling those who are brain down, nothing can be achieved. We are yet to start. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. So,
Recording in progress. Recording
for
started.
Dr. Because Dr. Buntu also has a lot of questions for our panelists. And right now I'm coming to Mr. Shweta. Nigeria continues to spend over $120 million per annum to treat malaria, especially on children under the age of 5 and expected mothers. The disease continues to take a heavy toll on the Nigerian economy, not only in terms of high death rate, but also the loss of man-hours due to illness. Now, there's a popular saying that the solution to malaria lies more with the citizen than the government. Because from all indication, Baba have said so many things that gravitate towards the aspect of the regulators, the government agencies. Now, but there's a popular saying that the control lies more with the citizen. I'm going to be asking if you agree that the citizen has more to do than government. If not, how do you think the government can also, maybe one or two explanations to what we are talking about? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the renaissance, this kind of social responsibility. Before I go forward, let me also enlighten our younger ones that we are here at Kalakuta Museum. This is used to be Kalakuta Republic. And of course, it has turned to a tourist center. You saw me when I was paying homage to stand there. And this is 25 years now that Vela died. He died in 1997, August 2nd. And of course, he had the highest funeral procession, highest crowd in any procession, any lying in state. It was lying in state at Fabalewa Square. Crowd on Monday. And from Fabalewa Square, people tread air. That is leadership. So what I'm trying to drive at is that leadership is not about spending money, buying vote. It's about vision. It's about vision. I will speak more on the political and economic issue of malaria, because there's no population you can do from now to 25. It's not possible. You don't have good government. Because, yes, All of us is a collective responsibility. We must be hygienic. But tell me, how can poor people be hygienic beyond their whatever? There are countries that have rolled back malaria. So it's not that it's not possible. I was in Cuba about 5-6 years ago, and anytime I travel like that, I will go with my malaria drug, Panadol and Piriton. All of us are doctors when it comes to malaria. 15-year-old boy, if daddy is sick, daddy can I go and get to Alabuku or something like that. So everybody knows, and I'm not sure anyone here has not contracted malaria before. So while the conference was going on, and by their own, to tell you that where there's government, you are going to have little or no malaria. So it's possible. While the conference was going on, one of the delegates there was part of solidarity to Cuba. You know, their workers, I think it was a May-Day program. By their standard, most hotels in Cuba have clinic because it's a tourist country. The guy just went to clinic to report that the first of all came to me that I should give him malaria. And I went there with Coate, just one pack. They're going to spend about a month. I too can get sick, so I just gave him Panadol extra. So from there, they told him he should go to clinic, the hotel clinic, where the conference was taking place. He got there. Having interrogated him, he said, you know, what do you think? He said, malaria. He said the last thing he knew was they were calling themselves, the doctors were, the doctor in the clinic, hospital clinic, hotel clinic was calling. Before he knew what was happening, he was on bed. He only opened his eyes to see stretcher. Because in that community where we are, it's about 100 kilometers to Cuba, to Havana. In that community, in that town, they don't have malaria treatment, they don't have malaria tablet. In fact, malaria drug is like COVID, HIV drug. Because they don't have malaria there. So he was driven by ambulance to Havana. And the guy was looking at the guy, sure malaria. So was just thinking maybe I didn't have malaria. He said by the time he got to the hospital in Havana, it's like taking someone from maybe in the rural area to UCH or lab. He also met people, medical personnel, that wanted to work on him. And funny enough, they dressed like Ebola people because they are looking at him, because they don't, malaria to them is a very terrible disease. So they isolated him in the uppermost floor with good hotel, with good rooms. According to when they came back after 6 days, he said, if not because of isolation, he would have preferred to stay in the hotel room. And this is free of charge. Free of charge. And every day, we don't cure malaria in Nigeria, particularly in Africa. And that's our problem. We treat it. In Cuba, they told him that, look, we are going to be measuring your plasmodium dose. It is when all those plasmodium is no more there that they will release you. You better cooperate with them, because the guy, no Nigerian. The Nigerian he told him to start causing wala. He now went to that he will destroy the hospital, he will fight them. That I know this is not malaria. And you tell me what I have. It can't be malaria. How can you isolate me? Malaria. He said, look, young man, cooperate. He was given juice. Every day they will come and test the percentage of that plasmodium. After 6 days, no more plasmodium. The doctor said, congratulations, you are cured of malaria. By the time I returned to Nigeria, so I can cure malaria. And I'm like, look, the time is up. When I came back to hotel, and we looked at it, Cuba is about 8 to 9 million people. It's a Caribbean island. Cuba is poor, but they manage their poverty qualitatively. because of the blockage by US and other countries of the world, Cuba developed total almost 100% qualitative medicine, medical services, almost free. It has reached a stage in Cuba now that doctors do go and meet people at home. What do you have? They will go and meet you if you are a patient and you didn't come. Elderly people, doctors visit them. The hospital has left hospital and been going into the people. So now we have not even, we don't have that in Nigeria. When you are sick, what do? We take care of our environment. The mosquitoes are everywhere. They say there are three. Coolers, Anopheles, tiger. They said Anopheles.
It's 80s.
Oh, you don't cause it. Anopheles, good. Maybe I think what to buy, I think what to buy, my bad number. And then don't go to buy my number. How do you even know which of the mosquitoes that bite you and you have malaria? And as we are speaking, average of 850 billion naira is spent on malaria cure and of course prevention by government and people. Then you start asking yourself, are we really running people's economy or we are running mosquito economy? Because the moment you are sick, the processes are cumbersome. Doctor, before we come and meet you, we will have done what we call self-medication. First thing, when you are told that you have malaria, everybody, you don't need to do any diagnosis. But abroad, nobody treats you with malaria if you are unlucky to have it, diagnosis. But here, by the time you meet your doctor and say, I have headache, it's like my tongue is bitter, I have pains. Before you finish, an average doctor in Nigeria has written malaria. An average doctor. If you go to community pharmacy anywhere, except where they do tests, maybe big hospital, you don't go to general hospital where you have a doctor that is going to attend to 400, 500 people, will start testing you, or alcohol, malaria, and over 70% of outpatient patients in Nigeria are suffering from malaria. So what that means is that if you are able to roll back malaria, you have enough money to spend on other facilities. 800 billion is no joke. I'm not sure a university can be built, except if Fair and UI and other can be built with 400 billion now. I'm not sure. So you could have built hospital, you could have built school, you could have built a lot of things. And let me also warn, that when you have malaria, let me also say, first of all, take your Panadol, from Panadol, Alabuku, you go to Fansida, from Fansida, you go to Coatem. When you are not going to hospital because there are community pharmacies, by that time, when you are terribly bad, you force yourself to the hospital. And of course, average of 3,000 to 5,000 naira now is spent on what? On malaria. That is mild malaria. If you are unlucky, that parasite is in your brain and other places, then you have serious malaria. And that can lead to death. They say about 300,000 people die annually. It means malaria kills more than Boko Haram bandits, kills more than COVID. For the past 2.5 years that we are having COVID, I'm not sure it has killed 5,000 Nigeria. I'm not sure, maybe about 2,000, 2,000. So it is a battle. It is a war. But along the line, we also have our economy. Because you also look, I'm not going to do a PR for mosquito, but this mosquito economy is also, it's like we rely on it so much. The Yodi Paraga, the Yalago is there, the Agasheko, Sole Lasson, the insects, the mosquito insects producers are there. Because why? Because of mosquito industry. And of course, by the time you go to hospital, an average clinic in Nigeria, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, they rely on what? Malaria treatment, not cure, to survive. So if we treat malaria well, I ask myself, well, it's good you don't have malaria. What happens to all these millions of people from Yalago, to doctors, to pharmacists, to even our drainage experts? Because that, like Baba said, like in this fair, or when we were in this fair, you will not see a single water. Drainage of the fair. That's why I'm talking about government. Our Lord built it. Our Lord already built it. They built a standard university. All drainage in Ife, you will not see it. Covered. And you know what? Back at the end of university. Treated by the university. Then, I'm not sure now. Because university doesn't have money. They can just be flushing it. And when that thing goes out, it's well treated. So that is governance. Today, what do? No much money in net, no much money for education. All students are at home. And when you are at home regularly like that, perhaps in 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, with your parents, overcrowding, NEPA strike, you go out and take what? Fresh air. If you fleet your room, will you fleet the environment where you have malaria? So when you talk of malaria, you're also talking of political and economic issue of malaria, which to my mind is the basis. If I look at it, it's even practical. It's proved. Why is it that African people have the highest percentage of malaria? Why is it even Nigeria has highest mortality and death in the whole world? In the whole world. So what that means, you can imagine Democratic Republic of Congo has more malaria cases, but their death was far, though their population is low. When you look at the percentage, you start asking yourself, what's happening? Every year they will give you net, every year they will vote money for prevention, every year they will do a lot of research. Successful government have been pumping money, trying, but what is happening? The money may not be enough. The money, of course, they go be the best, so that everybody just mark it. We have even gone as far as spiritual cure of malaria, which is not necessary. Because by the time you are doing your self-medication, low Panadol, you go fancy, you didn't go. Maybe you just got a shop by your area, and you and the other woman was selling the same thing. The first 1 month, you got the shop, open it, you are selling, and you started having malaria. By the time you treat for 3 days on your own, and it didn't go, because plasma percentage, those are the reason. You start thinking that your partner is attacking you. You actually don't shame me because you are selling the same thing, and I had enough money. And what do? You go to your next spiritual person. If you are a traditional worshiper, you go and say, Baba, Yasikira, you go and bring the name to him. If you are a Christian, you tell your pastor that you don't say you have malaria. Since I've started my shop about 2 months ago, I've been sick off and on, and it's that woman. So you lay your hands, give you anointing oil. Meanwhile, if you are a Muslim, you give you just maybe on 2 or what have you. That is existing. That's the poverty, because people don't have access. By the time you always die, they will rush you to the hospital. And which hospital? I was in last week for arthritis about 20 years ago. When I was going, that was the first and the last time I attended that hospital. When I was going, we were doing a program at Airport Hotel. I was secretary of alumni OAU that time. And the man I was moderating the program, the chairman of alumni saw me where I was doing. He called me and said, what happened? I said, I have arthritis, I've been treating it for some years. He said, your best bet, we know our hospital has the best doctors. I'm talking of public hospital. Because they see cases. They are the best. That's why when you are sick, even if you have money, in any private hospital, when there's complication, where will they rush you to? UCH, Luke, and other hospitals that are big. So now, you get there and say, okay, I have this, I have that. By the time you are rushed to the hospital, you are gone. The man that drink and nothing, the man that drink agbo, the man that sakoko, no Lord, that you let's see, maybe early in the morning, you go and put salt at your competitor's shop and be praying. You will touch one tira or one whatever. It's done. By the time you get to the hospital, the thing I said is brain, another organ. Don't forget, malaria is not only malaria. When it's not treated, when it's even treated partially, those microbes and those plasmodium, they are attacking other organs. They can attack your liver, they can attack your kidney, they can attack many cells. And of course, it opens space for other secondary diseases to enter. And that is why when you say you have malaria, that is deep. Good doctor will tell you, go and do typhoid test. No be so? After that, they'll start telling you, if it doesn't work, there is a lady with us that had complicated malaria. But with Lut, he was saved. After spending many months of different self-medication, traditional, semi-traditional, church and what have you. So, what I'm saying in essence, while we must keep hygienic, it's our own. Our environment must be hygienic. Government will teach us, we teach ourselves. But in a crowded Ajekule, in a crowded Mushin, if you is hygienic, well, it's good. Your next neighbor, by the time you wake up in the morning, you meet, particularly in Mushin, you see over 500 rats, dead rat, thrown, on the street. This rat will dare, nobody will come out. Health workers have not even picked dead body. They will be starting picking rats. This rat will decay, rain will fall, push them into the drainage, into the gutter. Don't let me call it drainage. I don't know what's going to happen. Mosquito breed there. And we are back to square one. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are all victims of bad governance. We should be hygienic. Lastly, let me say, I think about 3 weeks ago, I was in Emurekiti for a documentary shoot. Do you know what happened? In front of the palace, that was where they have their home. I wanted to weep. I did peace. You know what happened? I could not see a corner, dirty corner, where I can peace. I could not see. I'm not saying the whole of Emure is clean, but that aspect, I had to trek, look for one bush, almost outside that community, to go and peace. In Lagos, you don't do that. Why? The environment is dirty. If you take a beer parlor, if you take a driver to a beer parlor to go and drink beer, he will drink beer, shout at his peak. He will even remove his agbada. By the time you soup, the second plate, if the Gouda is almost 6 bottles, then you take the same driver to Sheraton Hotel. Will he shout? He will not. Will he up his agbada? He will not. The job of conductor is also the job of air hostess. It's just an advanced one because they are trained. Conductor will abuse you, will do a lot of things. Air hostess, even when they are angry, they show whatever. So what I'm saying is that when you have a clean environment, it's also what it reduces malaria. Lastly, in South Africa, when we were there, we were coming. We are coming from a program. So, 2 of us, we had a Nigerian guy that we met there that was taking us. My friend said he wanted to peace. And South Africa, they don't have this club, bus stop. No. In Pretoria, a bus stop can be in Balogun. The next one can be in Guinness. But they have good roads that you can trek on those steps. So I was so I want to be. I just told him, oh boy, Nigerian style, they look for work on that. You know what the young boy that have been in South Africa for about 10 years, you know what he told us? Instinctively, when I said that, we are older than him. Instinctively, you know what he said? One friend does it, so, because it's either you find public toilet, private toilet to go and wee. In Nigeria, it's not like that. Women, you want to wee, women will shadow whether men are coming. If they are not coming, corner. Men are even the worst culprit because of the long range of our man would just throw it anywhere and you are busy. Thank you. I think I'll stop here.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I'm coming to Madam. Malaria, we've said so much today, and the fact remains that malaria already has severe impacts on the life and the economy of Nigerians. I remember I said that earlier. Record shows that in every 2 minutes, children die of malaria in Nigeria. First of all, for a layman, and okay, let me also say this, that for the online participant, for those that are watching online, don't forget to drop your questions on the message box. We're going to read them out to the participant. I have just 2 more questions, while Dr. Butu will come with his own long list of questions also. So I'm going to ask you one. The question is maybe in 3 places. You know, some people don't even have a basic understanding of most of what you have been saying. So I just want us to come down to their level. I want you to shed a bit more light on the circle of how malaria is transmitted, you know, to factors that encourage infestation. And lastly, DIY solutions. Because, like I said, it's a two-way thing. In as much we put so much attention on the government agencies on what they need to do, we also have our role to play. You understand? So it's like one question, 3 in 1 question.
Okay.
Well, I think you're very happy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, before I start, I really want to appreciate everyone seated here. And I also want to appreciate my mentor and my elder in the profession, Baba Shomoye. And also the zonal Southwest coordinator for Ihorecom that is also here to grace this wonderful occasion with us. And he's right here seated with us. I really want to appreciate you, sir. You're welcome, sir. You know, it's people like them, that's why we are here. And I also want to thank you, sir, Rotimax himself. So, yeah, coming back to your question on explaining to a layman to understand what malaria is all about and how malaria occurs, the cycle in both man and the mosquito that is the vector that carries this parasite. Actually, of course, all of us know that malaria is an endemic disease as far as tropical and subtropical Africa and some part of Asia, Central and Southern America is concerned, and even some part of Pacific. Okay? It's actually a disease that is caused by a protozoa of the genus Plasmodium. In Africa, or in general, we have basically, before it used to be 4, but now we have 5 strains of this Plasmodium. We have the one we call the Plasmodium falciparum, which is the major cause of malaria in Nigeria. We have Plasmodium vivax, we have Plasmodium ovale, we have Plasmodium malaria, and then the last one that they call Plasmodium quenusi or whatever. Okay, you can imagine. Okay, And now this particular parasite, it's transmitted from human to human by the help of an infected female Anopheles mosquito. Understand the word female. That means that's not to endanger the female species anyway. But you know female species are always powerful. So that of mosquito, the Anopheles is also powerful. Okay? So it's been transmitted by the infected, because that female Anopheles mosquito must be infected. That means it must have picked up this parasite from someone that is suffering from malaria. And when it comes for a blood meal, just like usual, you are sitting out towards the evening time, or the dawn of the day, especially around 6:30 to 9 p.m. That's the first phase. And then around 11 p.m. to like 1 a.m. early in the morning. So that's when these Anopheles, the female, are usually active. Okay? So when they come in through your windows and doors, you didn't screen your doors and all that, and your windows, they come in. And then they have a feast on you. Or you are sitting out, taking your fresh air. And of course, we all usually experience it. Mosquito bite, you hit yourself. Before you even hit, there are people taking what they want to. Okay? So they take that blood meal. When they put their proboscis to take that blood meal, they will pick up what we call their sexual aspect of that parasite, known as the gametocytes. The male and the female gametocytes. That is the micro and the macro gametocytes. So when they pick it up, it gets into their guts. And when it gets into their guts by growth and all that, it turns to what we call the okinase. And from the okinase, it grows again and matures to the oocyst. And then it will move up to the salivary gland, where it will, burst up and turn to what we call the sporozoites. Okay? And that is why we call what happens in the mosquito the sporozogony. Okay? So when it gets up there, it's waiting for another blood meal. But someone innocent that doesn't know what the process has been going on in the system of this mosquito. Innocently, the mosquito, mind you, is looking for blood, looking for meal. Because it needs that blood to nurture the eggs that he wants to bring out, the new ones he wants to bring out. So he needs that blood meal. So I'm getting to another host, which is a human. It will bite that human and releases those sporozoites into human. Okay? And when it gets to human, of course, they will locate through the bloodstream. The bloodstream will carry them and get them to the liver. They will attack the liver cells. I remember when Mr. Shweto was talking about it, he said this malaria does not only affect, it does not only cause malaria, there are other parts of the body that it affects. So mind you, it affects the liver. Okay? And there it ruptures and forms what we call the liver schizones. From there, it will burst up and spread all over the bloodstream. And they'll turn to what we call the merozoites. The blood cells merozoites. They will scatter all over the body. And it's when it's rupturing and bursting, that is when the human is feeling all the chills. Do you understand? Depending on the species of the plasmodium that is in you. Some 72 hours. Some, you understand? So depending on that species, when you have that chill, it seems as if I'm sick. It seems as if I'm having, fever and all that. The merozoites is bursting. Okay? So when the acids keep, spreading and bursting, it's spreading all over the body. And then eventually, some of them will differentiate and turn to what we call that micro and macro gametocytes, waiting for the mosquito to come and pick them up again. And that is how this cycle keep going on and on. And mind you, when something is in the blood can carry it to any part of the body. It can carry it to the brain. And that's why when this parasite gets to the brain, that's when you hear that somebody has cerebral malaria. That is even the worst.
Yes.
I've seen cases of people that went to Yaba left. No Yaba left. That's psychiatric hospital. You know, we call it Yaba left. Sometimes it's because of malaria.
Wow.
Cerebral malaria. You see somebody is talking like someone that is, his brain has turned another thing. He's talking, he's misbehaving. It's as a result of malaria. So malaria is a serious issue. Very serious issue. Sometimes I've seen a little child that was born. This child was born normal. There was no problem with that child. At about a year plus, she was sick. You know, they were treating her and all that. Before you know it, that child came down with cerebral malaria. That child became blind. He became deaf. In fact, paralysis set in. Because the central nervous system was attacked. And everything in that child collapsed. I'm telling you. So it is that serious. And that's why, as a government and as a people, we should not take malaria with levity. It's a serious issue. It could be you that will be down with cerebral malaria. Nobody knows. It could be me. I've seen a young girl of about 24 years. Nothing was wrong with her. He had malaria attack, and the malaria parasite navigated to the brain, and she has cerebral malaria. She ended up at Yaba left for more than a year plus. If you come there, she'll just be talking just like somebody that is mental. So it is that a serious issue as far as Nigerian government and Nigerian citizens are concerned. It's not something we should joke with. And that's why when I learned of this program, I was gladdened in my heart that if actually we want to stop malaria, we want to stop this issue called, this demon called malaria that is ravaging Nigeria, malaria can be stopped. It can be stopped. But if we will begin to look at harnessing, innovations that can bring about reducing the vector that causes it and tackling this issue where it's supposed to. And then, of course, we save lives. And when we save lives, it's improve us as a nation, and it's improve our GDP,